The morning air in the Rocky Mountains was crisp and quiet when Lydia Harrington stood in the main hall of her retreat, arranging fresh wildflowers in a glass vase. Purple and white petals caught the sunlight coming through the tall windows, filling the room with a gentle warmth. This place was her peace. It was her refuge after a lifetime of being overlooked and taken for granted. At 61, Lydia had finally learned how to be still. Then she heard it. The low growl of an engine climbing the narrow mountain road. It cut through the silence like a warning. No one was scheduled to arrive that day. The women who lived at the retreat were all in town for their weekly counseling sessions. Lydia was alone, enjoying the rare calm that came between healing stories and shared meals. The engine grew louder. Through the window she saw a sleek black SUV pulling up near the front steps. Something in her chest tightened. She knew that car. She had not seen it in years, but her body remembered it. The doors slammed. Footsteps crossed the gravel. One slow and heavy, and sharp and impatient. Lydia did not need to look to know who it was. Logan Harrington, her son. And Vanessa, his wife. The doorbell rang. A soft chime that usually welcomed frightened women looking for safety now announced the two people who had caused her the deepest wounds. Lydia took a breath and opened the door. Logan stood there tall and polished with the same cold eyes he had inherited from his father. Vanessa stood beside him, flawless and tense, her designer bag hanging from her arm like a badge of status. "We heard you moved to a luxury place in the mountains," Vanessa said with a thin smile. "We came to live with you and make peace." Before Lydia could respond, Vanessa pushed past her and stepped inside. Logan rolled 2 large suitcases over the threshold without asking. "Do not just stand there, Mother," he said. "Help us with the bags." Lydia did not argue. She stepped aside. She wanted them to walk all the way in. She wanted them to see everything. They moved deeper into the building, their footsteps echoing across the wooden floor. The air smelled of flowers and fresh bread, not money or marble. When they reached the main hall, they stopped. Both of them froze. Their eyes locked onto the large wall at the far end of the room, covered with dozens of framed photographs. Not family portraits. Not childhood memories. Something else entirely. Lydia stood behind them, watching their faces change. And that was when she knew everything was about to come out. Logan and Vanessa stared at the wall as if it did not make sense to them. Their reflections appeared faintly in the glass of the picture frames. Not a single image showed Logan as a child. Not a single holiday table or birthday cake or smiling family portrait existed on that wall. Every face belonged to someone else. Lydia walked past them and stood in front of the photographs. "This place is not what you think it is," she said calmly. Vanessa folded her arms. "Then what is it supposed to be, Lydia? A hobby? A phase?" Lydia turned toward them slowly. "My whole life, people thought I existed to be useful," she said. "I raised a son alone after a hard marriage. I worked double shifts at the hospital. I paid bills and fixed problems, and smiled when no one asked how I was doing." Logan shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. "When you stopped," Colin continued, "when every conversation became about what you needed from me, I finally understood something. I had spent decades being strong for people who did not value me. So I left. I did not come to the mountains for luxury. I came here to breathe." She gestured toward the wide-open windows where pine trees and distant peaks filled the horizon. "This is not a resort. It is a recovery retreat, a place where women who have been hurt and discarded can rebuild their lives." Vanessa laughed sharply. "You turned your life into a charity project." Lydia did not flinch. "I turned my life into something that matters." She looked back at the wall. "Those women you see there are not guests. They live here. They cooked together, they worked together, they healed together. They came here with nothing but fear and they learned how to stand again." Logan frowned. "You never told me about this." "You never asked," Lydia replied quietly. "For years you visited when it was convenient, you called when you needed something, you never once asked what I was building." Vanessa rolled her eyes. We thought you were finally enjoying yourself. I am, Lydia said, just not in the way you imagined. She took a slow breath. Everything you see in this building was paid for with my own savings. No investors, no sponsors, just years of work and sacrifice. Logan stared at her. Then why did Mrs. Chen say you were rich? Lydia almost smiled. Because people confuse peace with money. She turned back to the wall. And you have not even seen the most important part yet. Lydia stepped closer to the wall and gently touched one of the frames. This is Luna, she said. She arrived here 2 years ago with a baby and no place to sleep. Her family turned her away when she refused to go back to the man who hurt her. She moved her hand to the next photo. This is Margaret. Her own children took her retirement savings and left her in a nursing home she could not afford. She came here believing her life was over. Then another. And this is Helen. She spent 20 years as a school principal before her husband convinced her she was worthless. When she left him, she did not even know how to use her own bank account. Logan shook his head. What does any of this have to do with us? Everything, Lydia said. These women did not come here because they were weak. They came here because they were brave enough to start again. Vanessa scoffed. They look like a collection of problems. Lydia turned sharply. They are my daughters. The words settled into the room like a weight. Logan stared at her. What do you mean, daughters? You're not their mother. Lydia looked at him. I may not have given birth to them, but I chose them. And they chose me. She gestured toward the photos. They call me when they are afraid. They come to me when they have good news. They ask my advice when they feel lost. She lowered her voice. When was the last time you did that, Logan? He looked away. Vanessa crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. You are replacing your own family with strangers. Lydia shook her head slowly. I am not replacing anyone, I am building something real. She pointed at a photo of Luna smiling while holding her baby. That child has never gone to bed hungry since she came here. That woman now works at the local clinic and saves money for her own place. She pointed to Margaret in the garden. That woman grows food that feeds this entire community. Then to Helen teaching a group of younger women. That woman teaches others how to survive. They are not broken. They are rebuilding. Vanessa shook her head. You sound like you are running some kind of emotional cult. No, Lydia replied evenly. I am running a family that actually shows up for each other. She stepped closer to Logan. You are my son, but you walked away from me long before I walked away from you. And that is why this wall does not include you. Vanessa let out a short, bitter laugh. Though this is what you spent your money on, she said, a group of broken women who need you to feel important. Lydia did not raise her voice. They do not need me to feel important, she said. They need me because they are healing, and I need them because they remind me what love actually looks like. Logan stepped forward. You could have spent that money on something better, on something that helped your real family. Lydia met his eyes. These women are my real family. Vanessa waved toward the wall. They are damaged, abandoned, unstable. What kind of future do you think this creates? Lydia took a breath. Let me tell you something. Luna was 19 when she came here, pregnant, homeless, terrified. She now works full-time and studies at night. Margaret came here ready to give up on life. She now manages our finances and helps other women learn how to protect themselves. Ellen could not even write a check when she arrived. Now she runs our training programs. That is the future we create here. Logan looked uncomfortable. But that does not make them your daughters. It makes them family, Lydia said. Vanessa narrowed her eyes. So you would choose them over us? Lydia nodded. Every day. Logan raised his voice. You are letting these people use you. Lydia stepped closer. They do not use me. They contribute, they work, they give back, they respect me. She paused. You never did. The room went quiet. Logan opened his mouth but nothing came out. Vanessa scoffed. "You are being dramatic." "No," Lydia said calmly. "I am being honest. You come here after years of silence and judgment. You walk into my home and insult the people I love. You do not see them as humans. You see them as failures. That tells me everything." Logan looked away. "You never wanted this kind of life," Lydia continued. "You wanted status, comfort, control. But this place is built on something you do not understand. Dignity. Every woman here earns her place. They show up, they work, they heal. And they treat me like someone who matters." She turned toward the wall again. "That is why their faces are here. And yours is not?" Vanessa clenched her jaw. "You think you are better than us now?" "No," Lydia replied. "I think I am finally free." Lydia turned back toward Logan and studied his face. "Tell me the truth," she said. "Why are you really here?" Logan hesitated. Vanessa answered for him. "Business has been slow," she said quickly. "The market turned. Things got complicated." Lydia folded her arms. "Complicated means debt." Logan sighed. "Some." "How much?" Lydia asked. He swallowed. 53,000. Vanessa looked away. "Credit cards, business loans, we thought things would improve." Lydia nodded slowly. "And when you heard I bought property in the mountains, you assumed I was wealthy." Logan said nothing. "You thought you could move in," Lydia continued. "Live here while I took care of everything. Pretend it was about family." Vanessa snapped. "We just thought it made sense." "No," Lydia said, "you thought it was convenient." Logan looked at the floor. "We did not think it through." "You never do," Lydia replied. "You never ask, you assume." She took a slow breath. Do you know what the women here do when they need help?" "They ask." "They do not arrive with suitcases and expectations. They do not walk into someone else's life and demand space. They come here with honesty. 'I have nothing, I am afraid, I need help.' That is how healing begins." Vanessa scoffed. "We are not like them." "That is the problem," Lydia said. "You are not willing to admit when you are broken." Logan rubbed his face. "We thought you had more." "I have exactly what I need," Lydia replied. "And you came here to take it?" The silence between them grew heavy. Outside the window, Lydia saw women walking back from town laughing together. That was what Logan and Vanessa never understood. This place was not built on money. It was built on truth. Lydia took a step forward and spoke with calm clarity. "You have two options." Logan looked up. "What options?" "You can stay here," Lydia said, "but not as guests, not as entitled family. You will live the same way everyone else does. You will share a small cabin, you will help cook and clean, you will attend financial counseling, you will work in the garden or the workshop. You will rebuild your lives honestly." Vanessa stared at her. "You want me to scrub floors." "I want you to contribute," Lady replied. "This place is not a hotel, it is a community. No one here gets special treatment." Logan looked uncertain. "And if we say no?" "Then you leave," Lydia said. Vanessa laughed sharply. "You would throw out your own son?" "I would refuse to let anyone poison what I built," Lydia answered. She gestured around the room. "These women came here with nothing. They show up every day, they work for their future. You came here with debt and entitlement. If you stay, you earn your place. If you leave, you take responsibility for your choices." Logan looked at Vanessa. Vanessa's face showed pure disbelief. "This is insane," she said. "You are asking us to live like charity workers." "No," Lydia said, "I am asking you to live like adults. People here wake up at 6, they prepare meals together, they clean, they learn, they grow. No one is served, everyone contributes." Logan swallowed. "We just need time." "Time is not what you need," Lydia said. "You need humility." The room felt tight with tension. From outside, voices drifted closer. The women were returning. Lydia looked at Logan and Vanessa. Decide carefully. Because the moment those women walk through that door, you will see exactly what family looks like. The front door opened and the sound of voices filled the hall. Luna stepped inside carrying her young daughter on her hip. Her face lit up when she saw Lydia. "We brought fresh bread," she said happily. She stopped when she noticed Logan and Vanessa. "Oh, I am sorry," she said softly. "I did not know you had visitors." Logan barely looked at her. "So this is one of them," he muttered to Vanessa, "one of the burdens?" Luna froze. The word struck her like a slap. Lydia turned sharply. "Logan, stop." But he kept going. "Your mother has built her life around women who cannot even take care of themselves," he said. "It is pathetic." Luna pulled her child closer. That was when Margaret stepped in. At 70, she was small but strong. "You will not speak to her like that," she said firmly. Vanessa scoffed. "Who are you?" "Someone who belongs here," Margaret replied. Ellen joined them. "These women work harder than anyone you have ever known," she said. Logan laughed bitterly. "You are all just using my mother." Lydia stepped forward. "Now," she said quietly, "you are the one who came here expecting to be taken care of." Vanessa's face twisted with anger. "This place is crazy," she said. "You are surrounded by damaged people." Lydia looked around. "I am surrounded by survivors." She turned to Logan. "You just humiliated a young mother who has rebuilt her life from nothing. That tells me who you really are." Logan opened his mouth to argue, but Lydia raised her hand. "Enough." Her voice was steady. "You have shown me everything I needed to see." The women stood beside her, not speaking, not moving. Just present. That was the moment Logan and Vanessa realized they were no longer in control. Lydia looked at Logan and Vanessa one last time. "Get your bags," she said. Logan blinked. "What?" "You heard me," Lydia replied. "Leave now." Vanessa laughed nervously. "You cannot be serious." "I am," Lydia said. "You insulted the people I love. You walked into my home and treated it like something you could take. That ends here." Logan clenched his fists. "You are choosing them over me." "I am choosing respect," Lydia answered. "I am choosing peace. I am choosing the family that chose me back." Vanessa grabbed her purse. "You will regret this." Lydia shook her head. "No, I finally stopped regretting." Logan stared at the women standing around Lydia. "You think they will stay," he said. "They will leave you too." Lydia smiled gently. "They already stayed." They turned toward the door. The sound of their suitcases rolling away echoed through the hall. When the door closed behind them, the room felt lighter. Luna stepped closer to Lydia and took her hand. Margaret and Helen moved beside her. No one cheered. No one spoke. They did not need to. The storm had passed. And the family remained. 2 years passed. The mountain retreat that Lydia Harrington built with her own hands had grown beyond anything she imagined. There were now 12 small cabins instead of 6. The gardens stretched across the hillside, feeding not only the women who lived there but families in the nearby town. Luna was no longer the frightened young mother who arrived with nothing. She was a licensed nurse working at the local clinic. Her daughter ran through the grass, laughing without fear. Margaret managed the finances, teaching women how to protect themselves. Helen trained new residents, showing them how to rebuild their confidence. One morning, Lydia received a message. Logan. He wrote that he was in therapy, that his marriage had ended, that he finally understood what he lost. Lydia read it slowly. Then she deleted it. Not out of anger. Out of peace. She had built something that no one could take away. A real family. Later that day, a young woman arrived with a note from Luna. It said, "Tell Lydia Harrington thank you, she saved my life." Lydia welcomed her inside. The cycle continued. Healing created healing. Love created more love. The mountain air carried laughter across the property. And Lydia knew she had won in the only way that truly mattered. People think revenge means watching someone else suffer. But the real revenge is building a life they can never touch. Lydia Harrington learned that family is not who shares your blood. It is who stands with you when you are vulnerable. It is who respects your boundaries. It is who shows up without needing to take something. Logan and Vanessa came looking for money and control. They left with nothing. Lydia stayed with everything that mattered. Peace. Purpose. People who loved her for who she was. If this story moved you, then it probably touched something real. Because many of us know what it feels like to give everything to people who only take. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what would you have done in Lydia's place? Do not forget to like and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to The Art of Revenge for more stories about boundaries, strength, and quiet justice.